Tony Khan is making it very clear in the short term there are going to be tons of new signings. This former WWE superstar is teasing something special. We got to talk about that. Also, on top of that, Impact Wrestling has announced a new signing. They've brought in a new producer, a former WWE superstar. We're going to talk about that. And then also, Tony Khan, as you guys know, he had this major announcement on Rampage. The major announcement was going to be an announcement for Dynamite. Then he went on Twitter to clarify. Now we got to clarify some more stuff because Tony Khan confused the living shit out of everybody. Not a big deal, though. We're going to talk about it in today's video. So if you guys want more news videos like this, don't forget to click that subscribe button, ring that bell, get notified, all of that good stuff. First, we're going to discuss this because it's not going to be a long story. Lance Storm, he is joining Impact Wrestling. If you guys didn't know, Lance Storm was working in WWE as a producer. Now he's no longer in WWE as a producer. His stint in WWE was actually quite long. If you guys didn't know, Lance Storm has been offering like seminars and a whole bunch of stuff, training people even remotely. He'll review your wrestling matches for you, stuff like that. Impact Wrestling has brought him in. As you guys know, I'm a fan of Impact, WWE, AEW, and whatnot. But one of the things I really care about is developing new stars. And something that I feel like Impact and AEW have done is put attention to people that maybe you don't know about, right? They make you care about these wrestlers that you might not be familiar with. And I think when you bring in a guy like Lance Storm, I just think that is incredibly helpful. Keep in mind, Impact Wrestling recently lost Petey Williams because Petey Williams became a producer for WWE. So for those who want to kind of get involved, maybe watch Impact Wrestling once in a while, it is highly recommended. You guys check it out because lately it's been really, really good. Also, keep in mind, Lance Storm going to Impact, he had a lot of great things to say about Impact. And more specifically, Impact is doing Gut Check and it just sounds like he's very excited about this, and I think that's a good thing. I think the morale, I could be wrong here, but based on what I'm seeing, it looks like the morale could be really good with Impact right now. Now, I do want to offer some clarification as to everything that's going on with the Tony Khan situation. If you guys are unaware, this Tony Khan stuff is really crazy. So, some clarification. Tony Khan mentioned that there's going to be a debut on next week's episode of Dynamite. Now, this is fantastic, but the problem is he said it was going to be the Forbidden Door. He said somebody was going to walk through the Forbidden Door. Now, in addition to that, he said it was a free agent. So there's people out there that believe it's going to be two separate debuts. That is not the case. So to clarify Tony Khan's announcement, it is one debut. It is somebody who is entering the Forbidden Door, yet is a free agent, which doesn't make sense because this whole time I've been under the understanding that the Forbidden Door is essentially a working relationship between two companies. Now, Tony Khan tweeted out that that's not necessarily the case. This person's going to be closing the door on their prior company. So, look, we could sit here and we can talk and discuss a million names. It doesn't really make sense to do that, though, because with Tony Khan and the way he talks about a top guy coming in, everybody's going to disagree with who is this top guy. And that's okay. That's just the way it is. But when you use the term top guy, you got people. We talked about this in the previous video today. There's rumors that it could be Jeff Hardy. There's Keith Lee. I mean, there's a variety of people. There's a list of names. There's a ton of free agents. And these free agents being mentioned every single time AEW is going to have a debut, it is possible. It's the same reason why people keep bringing up Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman and Buddy Murphy and whatnot. But nonetheless, Tony Khan, I think he's changing the way the Forbidden Door term is actually interpreted. And I think basically he is saying AEW is the Forbidden Door, not a working relationship. I know it sounds confusing, but I want to offer clarification on this because quite honestly, it was really annoying it was confusing, right? Like there is not going to be two debuts. At least that's what he said. It's going to be one debut. They are one and the same, and there you go. Now, I do want to mention there is a WWE superstar who has been talking a lot about AEW. This person turned down AEW originally and signed to WWE, and then he went to WWE, absolutely dominated NXT. Then he went to the main roster, and he flopped. But it wasn't his fault. Karrion Kross did not flop because of his personal skill. WWE did not know what they were doing. And this guy tried making everything work, and WWE literally flopped. And it's WWE's fault. I have admitted that for a long time. I feel like WWE totally got it wrong with Karrion Kross. But there is a lot of talk right now about Karrion Kross, Killer Kross, going to AEW. Now, one thing specifically that was mentioned, so last month or 2 months ago, there was an interview that came out. There was, some stuff on social media, Fight TV and whatnot. Killer Kross talking about getting even with Jon Moxley. Now, lately, there's been a lot of talks that Killer Kross is possibly coming to AEW. There's a ton of interviews. There's a ton of discussion, social media teasers. A lot of these videos that he's been posting, they are very, very high production. So there is this belief online that that is being done by AEW, just like the Ruby Soho tease. Now, when it comes to Killer Kross going to AEW, I do think it's very likely. I do think Killer Kross going to AEW is not going to be an exclusive thing. I think we're going to see Killer Kross very similar to how we see Jon Moxley showing up in other promotions. Now, the reason why I specifically want to talk about Killer Kross in this video is because despite the teases and despite the conversations and these discussions, right? First, we got to talk about Scarlett Bordeaux. Does she come with him? I think she has to. I think NXT presented Karrion Kross so good that Killer Kross needs to be very similar to that, maybe even a little bit more creative because he is a creative person. That's number one. But number two, AAA could very well have him as well. But then we got to talk about number three, which is MLW posting a video teaser on Twitter with an hourglass. And if you guys don't know, the whole thing with Karrion Kross, whatever you guys refer to him as, he has the hourglass. It's kind of like a symbol of who he is, right? TikTok. So at the end of the day, I think if AEW is going to sign a shit ton of people, right? Because that's what's happening. AEW is signing a lot of people. I want them to sign at least my favorite wrestlers, right? Because if they're going to do that, I'd rather see who I'd rather see. So my argument is this. If you're bringing in Killer Kross, make him a main event talent right away. None of this mid-card stuff. If you're going to bring in Keith Lee, make him in the main event right away. And I know this is a very tough conversation to have because there are a lot of people we would love to see the world champion, right? I think Adam Cole being world champion makes sense. I think Hangman Page holding the belt for a while makes sense. I think you could argue that Jon Moxley could win the belt again. There is a lot of names who I think could become world champion. But if you're going to bring in Keith Lee, if you're going to bring in Karrion Kross, if you're going to bring in these two people, right, who worked in WWE and had a completely terrible main roster run, I would not present them anything less than main event worthy. So if I'm Tony Khan, I bring these people in with the intentions of making them shoot up straight to the top. But you got to, obviously wins and losses matter in AEW, so you got to do it quickly and then let it be known that these people are at the top, right? That's what I would do. That's what I would do, personally speaking. I want to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. When do you guys think Killer Kross will show up? If he does, if he doesn't, where would you guys like to see him? Can't wait to see your opinions in the comment section down below. I will see you guys next time. My name is Ango. Thank you for watching.